I thought we'd try out the Meeden hot press paper today. That's this one here. I've got a small piece here that I put a background on, just to kind of wash on the background, and I'll show you how I did that in a minute. But I just wanted to talk about the colours of paint that I'm going to use today. And this is from the Kuretake set. And I've taken out the sort of autumnal shades. And if I can find it, I can tell you which ones they are. We've got Indian red, black. We've got yellow ochre, burnt sienna. This one is purple. And then we've got Prussian blue. That's, which one's Prussian blue? Is that one? No, that's the black. So this must be the Prussian blue. Yeah, that's the Prussian blue. That's the black. And this is cadmium orange. So those are the ones that I've chosen that are the most kind of autumnal. And we're going to try to do some sort of autumnal mood things. So anyway, I want to see how this works because I haven't actually done anything properly on this paper yet. So I'm just going to pick up some paint and I'm going to try painting some words. So we're going to put autumn. You can put fall if you want, obviously. It's just a matter of, and then I'm going to put mood. I'm not going to make a very good job of it. I'm going to discover that mood is not easy to write, but the paper takes it really quite well. Autumn mood. And then I'm going to try out some floral splodges, because splodges are us. We just do some sort of leaf type things and some bud type things, and you know, not really trying very hard to do anything particular. That was quite a lot of black. Let's put some red. What I like is when you just pick up a colour and mix it with what else is there, and you never know. You never know. So this is blue, and we're going to mix the blue with a bit of red to give us a nice purple. Yeah, this is quite nice and smooth, this paper. I think you'd enjoy this one. It's just different from painting on cold press. And I think now that Meeden have come out with this at a reasonable price, people can, you know, have all three. There's no reason not to try the rough and the hot press and so on and so forth. And I'm doing some of these quite dark and some of them quite light because we're going to probably, depends how I feel when I stop shaking, we probably, what will we probably do? We will probably go over it with pen, that's right. So this is the back of a bird. And let's put a nice brown twig underneath him. Some berries here. acorns and oak leaves. Quite like rough oak leaves, don't you? And then you can just do acorn cups like that. Just all of ours are still green at the moment. A little bit of green in there. In fact, everything's still green. We haven't got any colour at all yet, autumn colour. Put another flower in here. Another one there, perhaps. Perhaps some leaves, purple leaves or something like that. Doesn't matter what I plan to do, I never end up doing it. So it's a waste of time really planning. But it's just the mood, the autumn mood, and sort of thinking about cozying down and snuggling into the winter. We can just put some of these behind our words, like this. And I'll put some details in with the pen when it's dry. So we'll let that dry, we'll let that finish off, and I'll show you how I did the background. So this is a bigger sheet. I wanted to do it on a bigger page, really, because that was just a trial. Here we have the protective sheet on top of the paper. So you're going to take that off. I think when you order this paper from Meeden, they send you a little plastic gizmo to go between the pages to separate them. But then you're not going to separate this one because you're going to paint on that one, and the fact that it's glued down all the way around is what gives it the stability so that it doesn't warp when you put paint or water on it. So I don't know why my camera keeps moving, but it does. Anyway, let's try and get that straight. Okay, so I'm going to put a nice autumn background on there, and I'm looking for my brushes. Okay, we could do it with this mop brush. This is one of the Craftamo ones that's going to be available at the end of October, beginning of November. They'll be coming online and being released, and you can get the set of 6 for a special starter price when they come out for the first week. So let's wet this brush, and then what I did before was I picked up a little bit of raw sienna, and using plenty of water, just brush that on, spread it out, and then pick up a little bit of the red and mix it together. Remembering that we are not painting a house, we're painting paper, and just gently mixing and mingling it. Now you can either, at this point, let it just soak in and adjust itself, or you can play with it a bit. This hot press paper will tolerate a bit of playing. If you leave it like this, you'll probably get some gradations, some variations in the colour a little bit, and you could add a little bit more red if you wanted to warm up parts of it a bit. I don't think you can go very far wrong with this paper, yeah, so this is a good way of putting a sort of unifying background in. You could do it without a background, like I painted these, just straight onto the white paper. But if you do colour the paper first, then it does give you a sort of more overall, a bit more of a mood. So like this. And I'm going to put that aside to let that dry of its own. And then I'm going to come back to this one. And this is about the right size for a greetings card. And so that's why I kind of did this. I thought it might be quite nice. You could write on it Happy Autumn, or for people who have a birthday this time of the year, like me, us Virgo Librans. And then you can come in with your calligraphy pen and ruin it. No, don't mean that. No, never say anything negative. No, never be negative. No, just do that in private. So we're just going over, giving it your personality, I think, is really what you do when you do this. Giving it your personality, and yeah, it's fun. It's the best part. By the time I finish this, I'll be feeling a bit better. It's one of those shaky days today, so you'll have to bear with me. Put an eye in there for the bird. Are these mushrooms? I thought they were going to be something more like berries, but they seem to be little miniature mushrooms, so do that. Turn them into mushrooms. I quite like doing spirals over some of these circles. Berries, and then we can come in with some white as well, which is quite nice. Could put some dots here and there. And some veins in white. Spiral. Lots of dots, if you feel like it. Give him a light in his eye. And then you could emphasize your words a bit. Autumn mood. Okay. So there's that. And let's go back to this now. That's nice and smooth now. When this paper is wet, it cockles up a lot, but when you've thoroughly dried it using the hairdryer or you've left it overnight, you'll find that it'll tighten out again properly, and the glue around the outside edges holds it pretty firm. So that's That's fine. We've got a little bit of variation in the tone on here. It doesn't matter though, because we're going to cover all of that up. And I'm just wondering what to do. I had all sorts of ideas what I would do on this piece of paper, but I'm not quite sure actually what to do now. I think probably what I'm going to do is I'm going to draw a branch across the middle here. This is something I've been playing with this idea for a while. I got the idea from this book. She suggested doing a row of birds, so I did this row here, and I think I'm going to follow through with that using kind of some of the ideas that I've been developing of the autumn mood, these kinds of flowers and things like that. And there's this one here too that I did yesterday, sort of, you know, that kind of thing. And this is the palette. So as I said earlier, these are out of the Kuretake set, but they're all colours that are in any set. The fact that I'm using Kuretake doesn't mean that you can't do it if you haven't got it, because, you know, this is burnt sienna, yellow ochre, or raw sienna. They're pretty much the same. This is cadmium orange. This could easily be alizarin crimson. Then we've got phthalo blue and black, Indian red, and that one, I can't remember what's that one. That one's called purple, but it's a kind of maroon colour. All of these colours are in any normal set of paints, so there's nothing there that's specifically special to Kuretake. The only difference between Kuretake and other watercolours is that these are a little bit more heavily pigmented, so they have a little bit more body, and you can use them a bit more like gouache if you want to. Gouache, for anyone who doesn't know what gouache is opaque watercolour, except for acrylic gouache, which has been recently invented. I've never used it, and it sounds dangerous to me. I think it probably would ruin all my brushes, because that's the trouble with acrylic. That's the trouble with acrylic. I don't use acrylic because I've ruined too many brushes, because once it's dried, your brush has died if you haven't cleaned it off properly. Anyway, enough rambling. Whoops. Somehow need to get the adrenaline flowing a little bit here, don't I? Right, let's start. Let's find a brush. I know, I think I might use the Princeton Aqua Elite today. And let's put in a branch. We can start with a light colour and then pick up a bit of black. And hopefully that will blend a bit. And we are experimenting here a bit, because I don't paint often on hot press paper, really. You know, so we'll see what happens. So that's our twig. And then let's, oh, I don't know, let's put the birds in first, shall we? Let's just have some fun with birdies. If you, whoops, that one's dry. If you put the beak in black, say, using a reasonable amount of pigment, I don't know what's the matter with that brush. That's funny. With any luck, it will run a little bit into the rest of the bird. Let's do a pink one. Or you can do, if you want, you can just do the beak in the same colour as the rest of the bird. And choose whatever colours you feel you want to use. getting windy out there again. The beauty of watercolor is that if you relax with it and let it do its thing, try not to control it too much, you can get some quite interesting effects. It's all a little bit nerve-wracking though when you're doing it on camera. But we'll leave that like that and we'll come back to that. And I'm going to do some leaves like we did before and some berries. So let's have some oak leaves. If you look at nature, you'll see that nothing is the way it is on Procreate, right? Nothing has even lines and repetitive tones and everything just so. It's just not like that. For example, here's a leaf. It's an oak leaf off of one of our trees. It's one of the first ones to go brown, but it's not completely brown. It's got a lump of green at one end and looks a bit like that, doesn't it? Actually, it looks quite a lot like that. It doesn't look like they do in Procreate or wherever people are doing their art from these days. And so I understand that people want to do designs, and that's why they do what they do in Procreate or wherever, but I'm trying to develop a way of painting which makes me feel relaxed and not terrified. Art has a way of making you feel scared, I think. Blue and yellow makes green with a bit of rust. Do try this paper. I think you'll like it. So I'm just doing different colours of leaf and some shadowy ones behind. I have absolutely no idea what I'm doing, really, as you can probably tell. Let's put some purple berries here, maybe. And then probably what we will want is something coming in from the top. So we'll put in some greeny grey, leaves, like that. And over here as well, maybe we'll make them a bit more orangey brown. Okie dokie. oak leaves there and there. And then perhaps we'll just pop in a couple of birds in the distance here. Flying around. And we could even have some words. We could have fall, and then we could have fall friends. Okay. And now we put the paints aside. And I need to dry it and then we'll finish it off. So for the next step of this painting, I'm going to use my Poetique watercolor brush pens. And I've selected here a couple of greens, a couple of greys, a reddish colour to match this one, a couple of light browns to match these, and a couple of dark browns to match the darker colours. And as well as that, of course, I'll have my black and my white handy. And then I'm going to just try to turn these into something a little bit more structured using these and obviously the black. And so you have a choice here at this point whether or not to start with the black or to start with the colours. It's up to you, really, obviously. And I'm not quite sure at the moment, so maybe I'll start with the one that is the least well developed, this bird here, and just sort of bring him into shape a little bit by adding a few details and sort of working with what I've already got. I don't want to spoil the loose effect, but I will give him a little eye, and we'll put that quite low down here. Just give him, you know, say, oh, okay, so here's a bird, you know. And we'll sort of strengthen up his feet a little bit, his legs, just a little bit. And we'll probably come back to him, but for the time being, we'll leave him like that. Okay, well, I don't know, let's go for dark brown and let's do one of these oak leaves here. We just pretty much ignore the shape that I painted and just draw in something else. Change of colour. You can just play, you know, just let your brush pen do whatever it wants to do. You don't have to do anything specific. Whatever comes to mind. You never know what's going to come out of it. Don't try to control what you're doing. That is always my advice. Just really literally go with the flow. I think somebody put a video up just recently called Go With The Flow, and I sort of looked at it and I thought to myself, yes, that's not my idea of going with the flow. But we're all different. And so we can put in a few more sort of wiggly lines over here for the oak leaves behind. And you know, the thing is, isn't it, that you're designing something that looks nice to you. I don't care about anybody else, what they think. And don't look at it. Just do it. Don't judge yourself. Whatever comes to mind or to your hand. Sometimes you'll do something and you'll think, oh, I really like that. I really like that spindly look there. I really don't like the way my camera keeps moving. I'm going to have to do something about this. Yeah, so let's have some more of that, a spindly look. And we could emphasize the writing a little bit if we want to. We can leave that alone. Let's put an eye in here. The eye of the bird is usually pretty low down, sort of on a line with the middle of his beak usually. And just give it a little bit of a highlight, so that you know that he's alive. Where's my dark brown? I'll do dark brown here. And these are nice because you can press a little bit harder and get a thicker line as well, the same as you can with the Denisuke brushes. So, and where you've painted a colour that, you know, you think, oh, maybe that's not quite right, you can just go over it. Just go over it. And if you don't have oak leaves or you don't want to pretend you do, perhaps you have maple or larch or whatever, you just put your own leaves in. You don't have to do the same leaves as me. We have another little bird here. And this red one. You'll find that you develop your own style. This one hasn't got a tail, so we need to find a tail for him. Now, where could he have put his tail? Let's start off with it in grey, and we're not too committed. There we go. That's fine. I'll just strengthen up these berries here with a bit of black pen. And perhaps put a bit more here, I don't know. His leg and feet. This one needs its feet as well. The birds, their legs always come from sort of well back in their body, here, rather than here, That's what makes them look like birds, I think. So now we've got opportunity to put yet more layers of black in if you want. You can make the bark of the tree a little bit more textured if you want. Can have little sticky out bits if you like, just kind of branches coming up. So this paper is lovely. I really enjoy working on this. It takes the pens really well. And this is just the first time I've ever used this particular paper. So, yeah, I'm experimenting along with you. And if you've ordered this, I think you'll enjoy it. There's so many different things you could do with this paper. Makes a change. From cold press. It's not super smooth, this paper. It's not really smooth. It's kind of halfway between, well, I don't know really. I mean, it's nice. You have to try it out. Okay, I think probably getting to the point where we could probably start to say we've got enough line on here to make sense of the original underpainting. An underpainting, by the way, if anyone's curious about what an underpainting is, that's traditionally an underpainting is used in oil or acrylic, where you're building up your layers and you start with the darks and then you lighten up. So you start with an underpainting, often in one color like blue or brown or something, and then you add the details on top, because you can paint over. An underpainting isn't generally used in watercolor, but what you can do is do what I've done here, which is paint a background, and then you could say sort of light washes that you then develop a little bit. So you could kind of call that an underpainting in a way, but it's not quite the same. Okay, I'm going to stop there and say this is your fall, friends. Have fun painting a row of birds, and I'll see you again soon. Try out the paper if you get the chance. Yeah, just go to meedenart.com and use the code Diane10 and you get extra 10% off. If you do it before the end of the month, you stand a chance of winning a prize in the draw that's going to be paying out at the end of the month. So why not? It's not very expensive. I think it's $16 or something like that for 20 sheets. So yeah, give it a try. I think you'll enjoy it. I'll let you go and I'll see you again soon. So bye everybody. Bye for now. Bye bye.